The film opens with a couple, Shelby and Cyrus, who have been together since their college days. Shelby has been longing for some real intimacy, but Cyrus always seems to have an excuse to turn her down. The truth is, Cyrus has a thing for blondes. He finds himself far more drawn to blonde adult videos, and he often catches himself fantasizing about a college friend named Nikki, who happens to be blonde herself. Shelby wants that closeness so badly that she even agrees to wear a blonde wig just to play along with Cyrus and his fantasy. But it still goes nowhere. Cyrus simply doesn't seem interested, and deep down, Shelby never wanted to wear something like that in the first place. That tension turns into a real argument. They even start to wonder whether they should take things all the way to marriage, given how many problems keep piling up between them. On top of all that, Shelby can't help feeling jealous when she scrolls through Instagram and sees how her old college friends are living. There's Ruben, whose family is incredibly wealthy and who is about to marry a woman named Sophia. Their engagement posts are flooded with comments and congratulations. Then there's Nikki, who has become a famous influencer, the kind of person whose most pointless post still racks up thousands of likes. Meanwhile, Shelby's own page sits quiet and empty, and she's growing tired of a life that never seems to change. That night, Ruben throws a party at the family's enormous vacation home, the evening before his wedding. The house is grand and remote, tucked deep in the woods. It was left to him by his late mother, and it's filled with strange, abstract art, including one sculpture pierced all over with metal arrows. Their old college circle is all invited. Shelby and Cyrus are there, along with Dennis, the one who loves to flaunt his money and drives a Lamborghini paid for by his parents. There's Maya, the most spiritual of the group, Brooke, who has a real gift for drawing, and of course, Nikki, the influencer. After so many years apart, the reunion feels warm and long overdue. Ruben has invited one more friend too, Forbes, but he hasn't shown up yet. As it turns out, 8 years earlier, back in their college days, Forbes was brilliant but wild, the type who loved to party and wore his emotions on his sleeve. People called him Game Boy because he was always inventing games to make their gatherings more fun. But years ago, at a birthday party, something went very wrong. Forbes brought his younger sister Beatrice along, even though she was still in high school. Beatrice was obsessed with Dennis, who at the time was dating Nikki. It boiled over when Beatrice attacked Nikki, and the fight spread until Forbes stepped in to defend his sister and ended up brawling with Dennis. Because of that fight, and because he had brought his underage sister to a party where she got drunk, Forbes was expelled from school. Beatrice was committed to a psychiatric hospital, labeled mentally unwell after the brutal way she'd gone after Nikki. Once he was expelled, Forbes went on to work as an IT specialist at a major tech company, and from that point on, no one really knew what became of him. The dinner and the party get underway. Brooke shows off some of her artwork, drawings that transform when you look at them through colored lens sheets. Ruben, meanwhile, keeps stealing glances at Maya. The two of them dated back in college, and it's clear he still carries a flame for her. Before long, Forbes finally arrives, carrying a suitcase, and his friends welcome him in. Ruben had asked for a game like the old days, and Forbes has come prepared. But he warns them that whatever happens tonight has to stay between them, because the device inside that case took him and his IT team 5 years to build. It's what's inside. When Forbes opens the case and powers it on, he hands each of them a small electrode to stick to their temples. He promises it will be an unforgettable experience, completely painless. Then he turns a key, presses the main button, and in an instant, they all swap bodies. After Forbes returns everyone to their own bodies, the group is still reeling from what just happened. He gives them a quick explanation of how it works. The human brain acts like a piece of hardware, he says, and the device can transfer data straight into someone else's mind. His IT team has tested it, and a few of his friends have even tried it before, just for fun, guessing who is inside whose body. Everyone is eager to play, except Shelby, who looks worried. Something about this feels risky to her. Even after Forbes insists there are no side effects and no danger, it's Cyrus who calms her down, telling her this could be a unique and fascinating experience for them both. Then Forbes lays out the rules. Everyone gets photographed with a Polaroid camera. If you correctly guess who is inside a particular body, that person is out for the round and has to stick up a photo of their real self. But if you guess wrong, you're the one who's out, and you have to reveal yourself by posting your own photo instead. Forbes will act as the game master. No one can lie because he's the one who programmed the device. which means he always knows exactly who is in whose body. The catch is that as game master, Forbes isn't allowed to guess and can never win. Everyone else can. Bodies snap back to normal at the end of each round, and Forbes can return anyone to their own body at any time if he needs to. The first round begins. Shelby, now in Brooke's body, is the first to get caught because she flinched the moment the swap happened, and everyone knows Shelby is the most easily frightened. She sticks up her photo. Next, Ruben, who is inside Cyrus's body, gets exposed after the others bait him into nearly showing himself off, and he posts his photo too. Then Maya, in Nikki's body, gives herself away with one of her signature words, since she's the only one who ever says it. After that, someone guesses that Cyrus is inside Dennis's body because he uses Shelby's pet name. But here's the twist. It's actually Forbes who is inside Dennis. Strangely, Forbes goes along with it and confirms that he's Cyrus. That leaves the real Cyrus, who is inside Ruben's body, completely confused because a wrong guess is supposed to knock someone out. Why would Forbes lie? Is he planning something, given the bad blood from 8 years ago? When the two of them cross paths, the real Cyrus asks why Forbes claimed to be him. Forbes just brushes it off, telling him to think of it as something cool, that now Cyrus gets to play the part of him, and that he should make the most of the body he's in. Cyrus, still inside Ruben's body, wanders through the house until he reaches a room full of mirrors, where he runs into Maya, who is in Nikki's body. It's almost too convenient. Cyrus has always been attracted to Nikki, and Maya still has feelings for Ruben. Caught up in the moment, the two of them kiss, but it ends fast when Cyrus cuts himself on a sharp shard of glass. A moment later, the real Nikki, now inside Maya's body, walks in, and the whole thing turns painfully awkward. Nikki sees her own body getting close to Ruben, while Maya, fresh from that moment, finds herself looking at her own body too. After that, Cyrus spots his girlfriend Shelby dancing with Ruben in the home theater. Of course, Shelby has no idea Cyrus is inside Ruben because Forbes' photo is stuck to his shirt. She looks genuinely happy dancing with him, and the two of them start poking fun at Cyrus and his habit of watching adult videos. For Cyrus, it stings deeply to watch his own girlfriend mock him like that. Once every identity is revealed, the first round ends, and Forbes shows Cyrus how to send everyone back to their real bodies. The women are already cheering for round 2, Shelby included, because they're loving every minute of this. During the break, Dennis pulls Forbes aside to apologize for the fight all those years ago. It comes out that it was Dennis and Ruben who reported Forbes to the school, claiming he'd caused trouble and dragged his underage sister into it, which is what got him expelled. Forbes tells him he's already let it go and forgiven it. Forbes mentions that after the second round, the device will need a full 24 hours to recharge. Cyrus, though, refuses to join again, blaming a headache. The real reason is that he's still shaken by what Shelby said, and he's now convinced Forbes is up to something with this whole game. He even gets into it with Dennis, until Ruben steps in to break it up. Afterward, Shelby and Cyrus talk alone. Cyrus tells her that Forbes lied in the first round by pretending to be him, and that he has a bad feeling about all of this. Shelby reassures him that it's just a fun game. In the end, Cyrus agrees to play again, but only if the two of them set up a secret signal to recognize each other, scratching the left eyebrow. Shelby agrees. Round 2 begins. Curious about how the machine works, Shelby gets Forbes to teach her. After rearranging some cables, she turns the key herself and presses the button. Cyrus, now inside Forbes' body, glances around at his friends and scratches his left eyebrow. But there's no response from Shelby at all. Last time, everyone rushed to guess, but this time they'd rather savor their new bodies first, chatting and mingling. Shelby, it turns out, is inside Nikki's body, and she can't stop admiring herself in the bathroom mirror, completely enjoying it. She posts a new photo to Instagram, and within minutes it pulls in thousands of likes, a far cry from her own quiet page. With this stunning new body, she starts flirting with Forbes and Dennis, who are in Ruben's and Cyrus's bodies. Meanwhile, Ruben, now inside Dennis's body, goes straight to Brooke, who is in Maya's body, because Ruben still wants Maya, no matter who is actually inside. Cyrus, on the other hand, is still searching for Shelby. He finally figures out she's in Nikki's body when she screams at the sight of a spider, since Shelby has always been terrified of them. He leads her to the greenhouse. At first, she won't admit anything, but as Cyrus keeps pressing, Shelby finally confesses that she ignored the eyebrow signal on purpose, because she wanted to enjoy the game. Wrapped up in the thrill of being in Nikki's body, she comes on to Cyrus, but she wants him to call her Nikki, which only excites her more as she loses herself in Nikki's body. Cyrus, though, starts to feel deeply uncomfortable, especially when Shelby calls him Forbes. Once again, their moment falls apart because Cyrus is sick of this game. To him, Shelby's acting like a completely different person, and he says he's going to ask the others to stop. Shelby snaps, calling him a coward who can only be satisfied by adult videos. But Cyrus doesn't care. He's still going to ask everyone to end it. Elsewhere, Ruben takes Brooke up to the rooftop balcony. They talk under a beautiful sky, and Ruben, unable to hold back while looking at Maya's body, kisses Brooke. Things escalate between them, getting rougher and more reckless. Then the unthinkable happens. The balcony railing gives way, and both of them plunge from a deadly height. Ruben and Brooke, who are inside Dennis's and Maya's bodies, are killed instantly. Dennis's body is even left impaled on that arrow sculpture. So here's where things stand. Cyrus is in Forbes's body. Shelby is in Nikki's body. Dennis is in Cyrus's body. Forbes is in Ruben's body. Nikki is in Brooke's body. And Maya is in Shelby's body. Naturally, Dennis and Maya are horrified to see their own real bodies dead. To make it worse, the device can't move anyone into a corpse, and it needs 90 minutes before it can be used again. They're all left frozen, unsure what to do. Call the police? Bury the bodies without leaving a single fingerprint? What now? Forbes flat out refuses to call the police because his device could be confiscated, and it's far too precious to him. That's when Nikki starts to question whether the machine is even his, or whether it actually belongs to his IT team, and he quietly took it for himself. Cyrus tries to calm everyone and suggests they head back inside and return to their own bodies with one painful catch. Dennis would have to move into Ruben's body and Maya into Brooke's. Dennis is furious because it isn't fair. Everyone else gets to go back to normal, while he and Maya are left stuck. Pushed to his limit, Dennis brings up the truth about 8 years ago. He had been secretly sleeping with Forbes' sister Beatrice, and he'd even promised her a future together. Hearing this, Cyrus throws his own bombshell at Nikki, revealing that Dennis knew Cyrus had wanted to date and be with Nikki all along. Cyrus had even asked Nikki out once and been turned down, which is when he went looking for someone else who'd have him, and that someone was Shelby. In other words, Shelby was never more than a backup, because the one Cyrus truly wanted was Nikki. Humiliated, Cyrus fires back that Dennis is nothing but a jobless freeloader who has never worked a day since graduation and lives entirely off his parents' money. Dennis loses control. He suddenly calls the police, gives his name as Cyrus, and falsely confesses that he pushed Ruben and Maya off the roof. He even gives them the address. Cyrus panics because Dennis is inside his body and using his phone, which means the moment the police arrive, it's Cyrus who will be thrown in jail. Then they all realize Forbes has vanished. He's trying to escape with his device, but luckily Nikki manages to knock him out. They carry him back inside, and Cyrus wants everyone returned to their own bodies. But Shelby refuses to give up Nikki's body because she's enjoying it far too much. She ends up fighting Nikki, who is inside Brooke's body. Jesus Christ. And the whole situation only gets messier, with the police on their way. Cyrus tries to get through to Shelby, who is now with Maya, telling her they have to switch back fast. The only one who can operate the device is Shelby, since Forbes taught her and he's still unconscious. But Shelby wants something first. She demands Cyrus explain whether it's really true that she was only a backup and that the one he wanted was Nikki, because in all their time together, he never once touched her. Holding back tears, Cyrus finally admits that he's a coward who always avoided her because he preferred watching adult videos, but he swears he'll change. He says he wants to marry Shelby in his own real body and that he'll stop watching those videos for good. The game, he says, has made him realize he just wants to be himself, not some other man. Shelby is moved by his words, but then everything falls apart again when Cyrus mentions that he cut himself in that mirror room. Hearing this, Maya, who is inside Shelby's body, realizes that Cyrus was the one inside Ruben's body during the first round, the one who was so desperate to be with Nikki's body. Once that's out, Shelby changes her mind completely. She decides she's staying in Nikki's body, and she even threatens to post something to Nikki's Instagram to destroy her reputation. She doesn't care about the charity collaboration Nikki had been working on. Her whole plan is to wreck Nikki's career so that Nikki would be too ashamed to ever return to her own body, leaving Shelby free to keep it. Alone in a room with Forbes, Shelby wrestles with the choice: stay in Nikki's body or go back to her own. Forbes offers her an idea about what she should do. Then Shelby pulls Cyrus aside for a private talk, away from the others. She tells him that if he wants her back in her own body, she'll do it. But if deep down he truly wants Nikki's body, then she'll stay in it. and Cyrus can move into Ruben's body to avoid the police and prison. Without hesitation, Cyrus picks the second option. In other words, Cyrus really did want Nikki's body all along. Meanwhile, after freeing Forbes from his restraints, Nikki forces him to return everyone to their real bodies. She also brings Dennis in on a plan because she's seen through Shelby's wicked scheme. Nikki is certain Shelby will rig the device so that Shelby keeps Nikki's body, Cyrus takes Ruben's body and runs off with her, Maya ends up in Shelby's body, Forbes goes back to his own, Nikki is trapped in Brooke's body, and Dennis lands in Cyrus's body and gets sent to prison. So Nikki plans to knock Shelby out, so Forbes can set the device up her way instead. In her version, Nikki returns to her own body, Shelby goes back to hers, Cyrus returns to his and goes to prison, Maya takes Brooke's body, Forbes returns to himself and marries Sophia, and Dennis moves into Forbes's body. Why put Dennis into Forbes' body? So that Dennis can have the device and swap bodies with anyone he wants. Nikki also tells Dennis to transfer all of his money into another account so he can start a new life. Dennis agrees instantly because the scheme works perfectly in his favor. He could become anyone in the future. By now, the police sirens are already closing in, and they have to make the swap fast. Without wasting a second, Nikki smears peanut butter onto Shelby's tongue because Nikki's real body is severely allergic to peanuts. It can close her throat, leave her gasping, and kill her within 5 minutes. Nikki has the antidote, but she won't reveal where it is until Forbes has set the cables for the swap she wants. Forbes gets to work rearranging the cables. In the middle of the chaos, Dennis explodes when he sees his account has been emptied. Then the police arrive. Nikki says the allergy antidote is hidden in her shoe and can be injected once the bodies are switched. Cyrus, still furious, is restrained and fitted with the electrode. The button is finally pressed just as the police push into the house. The next morning, the story shifts to a young woman who turns out to be Beatrice, with a bruise around her right eye. She's speeding toward the Rubin family's vacation home, clearly enraged, and even gets into a roadside scuffle with another driver. When she arrives, Rubin's family has already gathered. Sophia's in tears because her husband-to-be, Rubin, has vanished without a trace and the wedding has collapsed. The police have processed the scene and found 2 bodies. The moment Beatrice sees Forbes, she attacks him, leaving him bewildered as to why she's suddenly beating him.
Hey, look at the help! Fucking help!
It's my suitcase!
Help! Jesus,
This is not a game! I'm not playing this game with you! No!
Then she demands to know where the suitcase is and reveals that the person inside her body is actually Forbes. That's right. Forbes is in Beatrice's body, and all this time, the one inside Forbes's body has been Beatrice. So how did this happen? Forbes lays it all out from the beginning. Dennis had been cheating with Beatrice, and the 2 of them had been together many times. Dennis had even promised her a life together, but Beatrice became utterly obsessed with him. Drunk at that birthday party, when she discovered Dennis was dating Nikki, she snapped and attacked her. After that incident, Dennis, Nikki, Rubin, and the rest of the circle all claimed Beatrice was mentally disturbed, which got her locked away in a psychiatric hospital under strict watch. Over 8 years of being falsely labeled and confined, Beatrice truly did become unwell, quick to anger and deeply scarred. She came to despise her brother's friends, especially Dennis and Nikki. So when she was finally allowed to go home, on the very night of Rubin's pre-wedding party, Forbes showed her his invention, hoping to play with his sister and rebuild their bond. But Beatrice seized the moment instantly. The second she landed in Forbes's body, she beat his real body unconscious, which is where that bruise around his eye came from. And from there, everything unfolds exactly as the film showed from the start. Forbes asks what's become of all of them. But even Dennis doesn't know who's inside whose body anymore, because the night moves so fast. The last person fiddling with the cables was Beatrice, and the device is nowhere to be found. The one thing Dennis knows for sure is that Maya is inside Brooke's body, still meditating away, since the most spiritual one of the group sees that body as her rebirth. Meanwhile, in prison, Cyrus gets a visit from Shelby. As it turns out, they both return to their own bodies. Shelby tells him she finally realized he's a liar, thanks to an idea from Rubin, who at the time was actually Beatrice. She baited Cyrus with the offer of a life with Shelby in Nikki's body, while Cyrus took Rubin's body, and Cyrus agreed. That was the moment Shelby knew Cyrus never truly loved her, because all he ever thought about was Nikki. So Shelby refuses to help him out of prison, and she ends their relationship for good. In the film's final reveal, we learn that Nikki actually ended up in Rubin's body. Beatrice is the one in Nikki's body, and she's the one who walked away with her brother's device. On top of that, while she was inside Dennis's body during the first round, Beatrice transferred all of his money, $2.5 million, into her own account. This is how Beatrice gets her revenge, especially against Dennis and Nikki. She has the dream body she always envied, the one belonging to Nikki. She's become incredibly rich after cleaning out every last dollar Dennis had. And with that device in hand, she can become anyone she wants. So the moral of the story is if your weird friend says, "Trust me, it'll be fun," start your car and leave immediately.